What if most of the urgency in your life isn't actually real, not fake, not imagined? Just manufactured. Just manufactured. Think about the last time you bought something online. Maybe there was a countdown timer ticking away in the corner of the screen. Only 2 hours left, sale ends tonight. Only 3 items remaining. And suddenly something strange happened. An object you didn't care about 5 minutes ago started feeling important. Necessary, even. The clock wasn't measuring time. It was measuring your anxiety. And once you notice that, you start seeing the same pattern everywhere. In your inbox, on your phone, at work, on social media, even in the way we talk about success. Because modern life isn't just competing for your attention anymore. It's competing for your sense of urgency. And that changes everything. The strange thing is that most people assume urgency comes from reality. A deadline. An emergency. A genuine opportunity that won't last forever. But increasingly, urgency is becoming a product. Something designed. Something engineered. Something sold. Not because it's always necessary, but because urgency changes behavior faster than almost anything else. When human beings feel rushed, we stop evaluating. We start reacting. And that's incredibly valuable if you're trying to sell something. Or build an audience. Or maximize engagement. Or increase productivity. The economy discovered something important a long time ago. People make different decisions when they feel time pressure. Not necessarily better decisions. Just faster ones. And in a world where speed often generates profit, that's all that matters. Think about the architecture of modern consumer life. Flash sales. Limited time offers. Black Friday countdowns. Airline booking warnings. Concert ticket alerts. Everywhere you look, someone is telling you that now is the moment. That waiting is dangerous. That hesitation has a cost. Sometimes that's true. But often, the urgency itself is the product being sold. Behavioral economists call part of this scarcity bias. When something appears limited, we automatically assign it more value. Not because the thing changed. Because our perception changed. The same product. The same price. The same quality. But now there's a clock attached to it. And suddenly it feels different. Urgency doesn't just alter what we buy, it alters how we think, which is why this extends far beyond shopping. Look at social media. Every platform seems to operate on a constant stream of disappearing relevance. Miss today's trend, miss today's news cycle, miss today's viral moment, and you'll somehow fall behind. The feed never says that directly. It doesn't have to. The design communicates it for them. Everything moves quickly. Everything feels temporary. Everything feels like it matters right now. The result is that many people spend hours chasing information they won't remember next week. Not because the information was valuable. Because it felt urgent. And urgency is emotionally persuasive. Our brains evolved in environments where immediate threats mattered. A rustle in the bushes. A changing weather pattern. A predator nearby. Reacting quickly could keep you alive. The problem is that modern systems can trigger those same psychological mechanisms without any actual danger. Your nervous system doesn't always distinguish between a tiger and an email marked urgent. It simply registers pressure. And pressure changes behavior. This is where things become more personal. Because eventually the urgency machine stops selling products. It starts selling identities. Productivity culture may be one of the clearest examples. For years, we've been told that every moment should be optimized. Every hour should be productive. Every goal should be accelerated. Every goal should be accelerated. Every achievement should happen sooner. Faster promotion, faster growth, faster financial progress, faster everything. The underlying message is subtle but powerful. You are behind. And if you're behind, you need to hurry. That's a difficult message to live with. Because unlike a countdown timer, this deadline never arrives. There's always another milestone, another benchmark. Another person moving faster than you. The finish line keeps relocating. And many people don't realize how much anxiety comes from trying to satisfy a deadline that doesn't actually exist. You see it in careers. Someone gets promoted at 28. Suddenly 30 feels late. Someone buys a house. Suddenly renting feels like failure. Someone retires early. Suddenly a normal retirement sounds inadequate. The timeline becomes contaminated, not by reality, by comparison, and comparison creates artificial urgency remarkably well, because nothing makes people feel rushed quite like watching someone else move ahead. This is one reason financial stress today often feels different from financial stress in previous generations. Inflation is real, housing costs are real, job insecurity is real. Those pressures absolutely exist. But layered on top of those realities is something else. A constant stream of signals telling you that you're running out of time, running out of opportunities, running out of chances, running out of life, even when you aren't. It's like trying to navigate a city where every traffic light is flashing red. Eventually you stop trusting your own judgment. Everything feels urgent, which means nothing can be prioritized properly. And that's exhausting. Financial exhaustion isn't always caused by lack of money. Sometimes it's caused by living in a permanent state of perceived emergency. Always reacting. Always adjusting. Always catching up. Never arriving. The irony is that some of the most important financial decisions in life work best when urgency is removed. Long-term investing, career development, skill building, relationships, health. These things often reward patience more than speed. They compound slowly, almost invisibly. Like planting a tree. You don't dig it up every week to check whether it's growing. Yet modern systems often encourage exactly that behavior: constant checking, constant reacting, constant monitoring. As if progress only counts when it's immediate. And that's where the deeper realization begins. Maybe the real challenge isn't learning how to move faster, maybe it's learning how to distinguish between genuine urgency and manufactured urgency. Because they aren't the same thing. A medical emergency is real urgency. An expiring discount code usually isn't. Losing your job may require immediate action. Missing a social media trend probably doesn't. The skill isn't ignoring urgency altogether. The skill is becoming selective about which urgencies deserve access to your attention. That's harder than it sounds, because attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the modern economy. Every company wants it. Every platform competes for it. Every notification negotiates for it. And urgency is often the currency used to acquire it. Which means awareness becomes incredibly important, not perfection. Awareness. The next time you feel pressure to act immediately, pause long enough to ask a simple question. Is this urgent because reality says it is, or because someone benefits from me feeling rushed? That question alone can change a surprising number of decisions, not all of them. But enough. Enough to create a little space between stimulus and response. Enough to make decisions instead of merely reacting to them. Enough to regain ownership over your attention. Because attention eventually becomes time. And time eventually becomes life. That's what makes this conversation bigger than shopping habits or productivity tricks. It's really about how we experience our days. Whether we spend them responding to every flashing signal around us. Or whether we choose which signals actually matter. The economy of artificial urgency will probably continue growing. There will always be new countdowns, new alerts, new trends, new reasons to feel behind. That's unlikely to change. But your relationship with those signals can change. You don't need to reject modern life. You don't need to disconnect from everything. You don't need perfect discipline, you simply need to recognize that not every ticking clock deserves your fear. Because many of the most meaningful things in life were never meant to happen quickly. Trust, mastery, financial stability, confidence, peace of mind. They grow slowly, quietly, often without visible evidence. And maybe that's the most important thing to remember. In a world constantly asking for urgency, patience becomes a form of clarity, not laziness, not complacency. Clarity. The ability to see which deadlines are real, and which ones were simply designed to make you run. Because once you can tell the difference, something shifts. The clock loses some of its power. The pressure softens. And for the first time in a while, you're no longer reacting to every countdown around you. You're deciding which ones deserve your time. And that might be one of the most valuable financial skills anyone can develop.